Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and I am officially back from my trip to the Pokemon Go World Championships. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the unbelievable battles that I got to witness as Yakai, a teenager from Hong Kong, absolutely destroyed the most stacked field in competitive Pokemon Go history to earn the coveted title as the newest Pokemon Go World Champion. The team of 6 that Yakai brought to the World Championships features Altaria, Skarmory, Lickitung, Charjabug, Shadow Quagsire, and Annihilate. And I'm going to be showcasing the best battles that Yakai had throughout the weekend. First up, a battle versus Inadequence, and Yakai off to an amazing start as he leads Skarmory into Wigglytuff. Water Gun Lantern save switch by Inadequence is answered by the Lickitung from Yakai. Even though Lickitung does have a favorable matchup here, this is a bit uncomfortable, as you have to try and predict, will my opponent shield and try and make a play for switch, or will they just let it go? Considering how bad of a lead it was, Yakai anticipates the shield, goes for the bait, but Inadequence with a massive bait call. Now Yakai full sending the Power Whip. We're going to see the shield by Inadequence, and Inadequence can now flip this matchup. Inadequence almost doubled up on Surfs. Yakai can't afford to shield. He's just going to let it go, try and get to the body slam, but the Water Gun picks up the KO. And this is now a very difficult spot for Yakai to be in. He sends in the Charjabug. Charjabug is going to absorb the energy, aggressively switching a Skarmory into Lantern. He understands it's Poliwrath in the back. Poliwrath so strong into Yakai's team. It beats Skarmory, but not if Skarmory has an energy lead. The decision to switch a Skarmory into a Lantern is about to pay massive dividends. He gets the Sky Attack bait. He can now shield up the Icy Wind, make the Brave Bird, and KO that problematic Poliwrath. Here's the issue though. The issue is Inadequence still has his Lantern, and his Lantern will be pretty close to a Surf. In comes the Lantern, trying to get to the Surf, but the frame perfect catch by Yakai. He was counting the Water Guns. The undercharge by Inadequence. He's just going to let himself get farmed down because he wants energy on the Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff has to try and clutch here. Wigglytuff is going to get the full farm down, but can it outpace the Skarmory? Skarmory has residual energy, making it to the Brave Bird, a frame perfect catch, and the decision to bring a Skarmory into a Lantern. 2 amazing plays that win the game for Yakai. We now move to a different matchup, Yakai versus Kabon 1013. And in this game, the leads start out very neutral. Altaria for Yakai, Shadow Gligar for Kabon. Although, me personally, I would rather be the Gligar in this matchup, because as long as there's at least one shield in play, Gligar, due to its vastly superior pacing, does have an advantage. Kabon, understanding this, not going to let Altaria win the zeros, going to commit the shield and look to farm up past 2 Aerial Aces. And this means Yakai can't afford to shield. If Yakai shields once, there's another Aerial Ace ready, he'd have to shield twice, so he lets it go. Brings in Lickitung to try and neutralize the energy from the Gligar, but Kabon says no, saving a dig for later and bringing in his own Lickitung. So far, Yakai has seen the 2 Pokemon from Kabon that the Charjabug doesn't necessarily want to see. Charjabug, not a big fan of Lickitung, not a big fan of Gligar. So at this point, if you're Yakai, you understand the Charjabug has to have at least okay play in back. However, there's still that Gligar, and the Gligar with a Bank Dig is going to be very tricky to deal with. Kabon, approaching 100 energy, will have to fire off this Body Slam right away, and does so. Yakai approaching another Body Slam, would love to be able to neutralize the energy from Kabon. Kabon, not going to let that happen. Perfect counting, throws the Body Slam 1 lick before Yakai's move was ready. Aggressive switch to the Charjabug, answered by the Gligar, and this Gligar energy is going to pressure shields from the Charjabug. Charjabug shields the Aerial Ace bait. There's another Aerial Ace fired by Kabon. We see the double shield by Yakai. Yakai going to trust in energy from this Charjabug. Charjabug leaving with the back-to-back X Scissors. It is the Annihilate in the back for Kabon. Kabon can bring in Lickitung and force energy, because if Yakai went for the Volt Switch, Lickitung would make a Body Slam. X-Scissor will pick up the KO. In comes Annihilate, and this will be a very tricky endgame. Yakai baiting with the X-Scissor here. This is double resisted, gets the shield, and that means Yakai can now land this Discharge. Discharge will do significant damage. Kabon needs to overfarm to the max, gonna try and throw 5 counters, and the move, but the combo play by Yakai, going for the Body Slam. This is double resisted. Will it KO? No, it will not, but the lick after does. And that game ends in victory. We move to game 2 of this series. Pretty okay lead for Yakai as he leads the Shadow Quagsire into Shadow Gligar. Gligar can do pretty fine there, but K-Bon opting to switch out into the Lickitung. Lickitung going to be chipped with an Aqua Tail and met with Skarmory. Skarmory, a wall to the energy from this Lickitung. Lickitung can connect with Body Slam after Body Slam after Body Slam, but Skarmory is more than okay to take this energy. Another Body Slam will connect. Yakai, perfect counting, farming up and firing off this charge attack right before the Body Slam is reached. Sky Attack will not KO. One more Body Slam, but this will not be enough to threaten a knockout onto the Skarmory. Skarmory is going to try for the farm down, but K-Bon says no. Aggressive switch into the Gligar. Brave Bird is going to be shielded. In comes the Shadow Quagsire. Quagsire will need 2 Aqua Tails to be able to pick up the knockout here, as of course it has 0 fast move pressure in this matchup. Aqua Tail, no shielded. K-Bon understanding this matchup, he knows that he can survive one, and there is no ability ever to mudshot down this Gligar. Gligar now going to shield at a big energy advantage. 3 wing attacks in the move, going to guarantee a knockout with the dig, and Yakai will expend the final shield. Switch timer still not yet up. Going for the Aqua Tail, this will be able to pick up the knockout onto the Gligar, but in the back, it's the Annihilate, and this Annihilate will be difficult. Quagsire able to make the last second Aqua Tail, waiting the turn to make sure there's no catch as well. Aqua Tail connects, in comes Lickitung, and Lickitung going to be met with the Night Slash, but Night Slashes just do not do enough here. K-Bon would have needed a boost, and he does not get it. Body Slam fired at this Annihilate. Annihilate getting hit with the double resisted damage left and right in these games. Able to hang on, but not by much. Night Slash will connect. Lickitung is going to get the farm down. K-Bon brings in his own Lickitung, and that's just not going to be enough for him to take the win, as Yakai takes the 2-0 victory over K-Bon. This next matchup will be one for the ages. Yakai battling against LNDS T. Steiner. Steiner was a top 3 finisher at the North American International Championships and has won regional championships as well in the past. So these are bound to be some truly incredible battles. Leads are set for the match. We have Charjabug from Yakai and the Vigoroth for LNDS T. Steiner. Charjabug typically can do quite okay in this matchup, despite the fact that Vigoroth can threaten super effective damage with the Rock Slide. X-Scissor will connect. Vigoroth farming up to the back-to-back Body Slams. One Rock Slide would not KO here, so we will see the no shield by Yakai. A switch into Lickitung. Lickitung is going to be chipped with the X-Scissor, and now Yakai can look to send in Altaria. Altaria does a great job at neutralizing Lickitung. Lickitung, it is getting nerfed in the upcoming season, but obviously still at full power in this moment. It's very difficult for stuff to beat Lickitung neutrally, but Altaria is able to do that with that immense stat product. Body Slam after Body Slam connect. Altaria farming up, and that's a perfect overfarm. Sky Attack right before that Body Slam is reached, getting the absolute maximum energy possible. In comes Gligar, and the overfarm pays off. He makes the Moonblast and forces the shield from the Gligar. The perfect farm leads to actually pressuring a shield from Steiner. Steiner going to bait with this Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace called by Yakai, getting the shield calls right, going for this Aqua Tail. It will not be enough to KO, so Steiner is going to let them move through. Aerial Ace fired off by this Gligar, forcing the shield from the Quagsire, and the Quagsire is starting to run out of HP. The switch into Vigoroth is going to bring back out this Charjabug. Charjabug should get KO'd here by the Body Slam, and just does. In comes the Quagsire. Quagsire forced to expend the final shield here, as Body Slam would be lethal. Quagsire with the maximum overfarm. Steiner has to decide where to use the shield. He uses it here, so the counter that snuck will register. That's another Aqua Tail. This will be a game decided by fractions of a health bar. Can Quagsire withstand these wing attacks? In comes the Gligar, and it's the Quagsire on 1 HP. The perfect overfarms all game pay off for Yakai, as what probably could have been a loss ends up being a victory. We again move to a different matchup, this time Yakai versus Beelzebub. Very neutral leads across the board. Skarmory versus Vigoroth. Skarmory does win the 0 shield here if it's able to successfully land a Brave Bird, but that's part of the mind game. Is your opponent going to shield or call the bait? Yakai thinks Beelza is going to shield, goes for the Sky Attack, and Beelza calls the bait, and now Vigoroth will dictate switch advantage or shield advantage. Making it to the rock slide, Yakai shields, he wants to play for switch. Beelza boy safe switches into the Shadow Quagsire and immediately gives that shield back as Skarmory fires off the Brave Bird. We're now going to see the Quagsire mirror. Beelza boy up 2 mud shots, and that is a massive amount of energy to be up considering how spammy Quagsire is. Firing off the Aqua Tail, Beelza knows that he does not have to shield here. Beelza can go for the Aqua Tail, but instead opts to shield and go for an overfarm. Beelza can farm past 2 Aqua Tails, which means that Yakai is unable to shield, because even if he shields, the next Aqua Tail would KO anyway. Just gonna let this through. Beelza now has energy to potentially hit Altaria. Yakai sends in the Altaria. We see an Aqua Tail bait and a shield! What a call by Beelza! The Aqua Tail bait is shielded. We're now going to see the switch into the very bulky Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz able to consistently chip away with these Dark Pulses, but they're only going to hit for neutral. And the Altaria can threaten with the super effective Moonblast. Moonblast will connect, not going to be enough to pick up the knockout, but will deal heavy damage to that Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz making it to the Dark Pulse. Mandibuzz would really need to make it to an Aerial Ace here if Beelza wants to generate an advantage in this matchup and is unable to get there. And now there's just no HP remaining on Beelza's remaining Pokemon. Beelza sends in the Quagsire, unable to get the move. Yakai knew exactly where that residual energy was at. 1 Dragon Breath and that Sky Attack. Dragon Breathing down the Vigoroth. Just a mastery of counts. And that's, again, going to be a win for Yakai. We again move to a different matchup, and this will be an amazing one. Lurgan Rocket, a former regional champion hailing from Ireland, versus Yakai. Lurgan Rocket running a bit of an interesting team, centered around Goodra, pairing it up with a non-Shadow Poliwrath, a Registeel, his signature Pokemon Cresselia, Lickitung, and Talonflame. The leads are set for game 1, and it's a great lead for Lurgan. Lurgan leading Lickitung into the Charjabug from Yakai. So right off the bat, Lurgan will be able to dictate switch advantage or shield advantage in this matchup. Yakai with his signature Altaria again in the back, and this time he's brought Annihilate. Annihilate, even if it doesn't have switch advantage, its energy can do a lot of good things against the backline for Lurgan, as Night Slash and Shadow Ball will both hit for super effective against Cresselia. We are going to see the Charjabug try to make it to the X-Scissor, but that's the really unfortunate thing about being Charger in this matchup. You are not able to win the evens. In comes Annihilate, looking for the counter down, but not before Lickitung gets to leave a parting gift of a double resisted Body Slam. In comes Cresselia. Cresselia, we see a no shield here, and it's going to be the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball connects, massive damage. The switch to Altaria answered with the Registeel. This matchup, despite Altaria having the type disadvantage, Altaria can put up a pretty decent fight. The Dragon Breath will add up, so will the Sky Attack, and 1 Zap Cannon will not be enough to knock Altaria out of the sky. Zap Cannon connects, we do not see the debuff, a bit of bad luck for Lurgan, making it 2 to the Sky Attack. This will not KO the Registeel, but it will get the Registeel quite low. Lurgan saving shields for that Cresselia, making the Zap Cannon, and we do see the shield from Yakai. Undercharged by Lurgan. Switch clocks up for Yakai. He gets a counter on the Registeel. Oh my goodness. Lurgan tried to react as fast as he could. Yakai just gonna let this go. He's gonna try and win it with the Altaria. He's gonna try and Dragon Breath everything down. Altaria using the final shield. Going to be able to farm down Cresselia. Can Registeel make a move after it took that counter from earlier? The answer is no. Perfect play by Yakai. And he's able to take that game. And we will end this video where we began it, with Inadequence versus Yakai. This is the grand finals. Game 4, win or go home. Yakai up 2 games to 1. Yakai with an amazing lead, Altaria into Giratina. Clodsire safe switch by Inadequence. Yakai could send in the Skarmory, but chooses to stay in with the Altaria, potentially reading that it's a Skarmory bait out to try and sweep with the Wigglytuff. And Yakai ran a line that is ABA weak to that Wigglytuff, but thank goodness Inadequence did not choose to bring it. The Sky Attack will connect. Clodsire going for this Stone Edge, and we will see the shield from the Altaria. Altaria going to continue to farm. farm, has the Sky Attack here, and going to fire off the Sky Attack at the last possible second. Clodsire choosing to shield. Clodsire has the Stone Edge available. These switch clocks are very misaligned. Yakai letting it go, and then will be able to pick up the knockout. In comes Skarmory. Skarmory gonna look for a farm down, and Inadequence has a nearly impossible decision to make. Does he read that his Giratina does not have play in the back and bring it in here? If he does, he wins. What does he decide to do? He brings in the Skarmory mirror because this is the best way to neutralize the Skarmory energy from Yakai. But that does mean he doesn't know it yet, but his poor Giratina is going to get stuck on that Lickitung. Giratina running a triple Ghost moveset. Ghost, an incredibly good typing in this meta, but unfortunately, it has nowhere to go versus Lickitung. Sky Attack KOs. In comes the Lickitung, and unfortunately for Inadequence, that will be game over. And that means that Yakai is going to be the new Pokemon Go World Champion. Inadequence knows there's nothing he can do to save this Giratina, so he just sets the phone down as Yakai connects with Power Whip number 1 and Power Whip number 2. And this will secure Yakai as the 2024 competitive season champion for Pokemon Go. All in all, the level of competition at this year's World Championships was absolutely unbelievable. Even in round ones of the tournament, we were seeing incredible plays. But to me, it really felt like Yakai, with his incredible, almost surgical precision in his plays, was a step above the competition. And it shows as he was able to cruise through the winner's side of the bracket, defeat Inadequence in the finals, and despite only being 16 years old, he's crowned the Pokemon Go World Champion. And we can now confidently say, in the year of 2024, Yakai is the best Pokemon Go PvP player on the entire planet. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.